at it again, and we got to talk about Chris Cuomo because I actually agreed with him. Yeah, I know. Didn't think I'd be able to say that one. That's for sure. He recently dropped a video or went on, made a segment, I guess I should say, on News Nation and said some things about some things that have been said to him behind the scenes because of the interview that he conducted or did with Tucker Carlson. And we're going to be diving into that today because, like I said, I actually agreed with him. But first, if you haven't seen the interview between him and Tucker, I'm going to play just a little bit of it just so you guys get a little taste, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of this video. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
And, you know, we can go through different stuff that I say, that you say, because I still want to know why you came after me as much as you did.
Because I'm a dick, probably. Because it was easy. Because I don't like CNN, and I really mean that in my heart of hearts. I really just don't.
But why me?
I don't know.
How can you not know? It was so intentional. It was so frequent.
Because people kept sending me videos from Instagram.
You.
It was me.
It was you.
I sent him the first video and then he was mesmerized.
Well, what was wrong with me lifting weights? You're an outdoorsman.
I just couldn't. I mean, I was pissed about the COVID thing. That is totally true. I didn't buy any of this from day one. That was totally real. But that's not, what I did was not really a pure refutation of your positions on COVID. It was me taking the cheap shots, which I'm not always above. And but you should be above that.
Did it feel good when you would come after me like that?
Felt a little dirty.
Dirty good or dirty?
You know, I'm not really a dirty good guy. You know what I mean?
Because you enjoyed it.
Let
me tell you, there was
is
no
a momentary
shame
everyone
in your
the
game.
room. No, I guess cameras aren't picking up all the people sitting here, but I mean, in the sense that, you know, I don't want to use any kind of sexual metaphor, but there is one for this. It's like something you shouldn't be doing, but there's kind of the animal thrill of doing something wrong, I guess is what I would say.
You loved it. You loved it, and it worked
but
for you.
I will say this.
And my in-laws watch you. Do you know how hard it is to deal with having your in-laws enjoy a joke that makes you want to, you know, do bad things that are going to cost you civil litigation money? And
somebody did say, you know, Chris Cuomo's a lot bigger than you. Maybe you should be careful. I just couldn't, you know,
You know, isn't that interesting that his in-laws actually watched Tucker, but he was on leftist media? You know, it's the same thing with Gavin Newsom, right? Or a similar thing. His in-laws left the state that he runs. You just can't make this stuff up. Gavin Newsom's, if you guys don't remember, I think I covered this story, but Gavin Newsom's in-laws lived in California, or California, as I like to say. They lived there. And obviously having a son-in-law that runs the state, I mean, I'm sure there's some perks that come with that. And they said, you know what? Forget about that. I'm out of here, son. And you know where they left to? That's the funniest part. They left to Florida. Y'all remember when Gavin and Ron DeSantis had that fake beef that they were drumming up, you know, and Gavin was debating Ron DeSantis. And his in-laws said, I'm out of here, son. I'm going to Florida. That's just hilarious to me. And then Chris Cuomo, his in-laws actually watched Tucker Carlson. I'm sure they probably tuned in to Chris, you know, just because, you know, right? It's family, okay? But still, gotta watch the competition, man. Hey, Republican policies work. I'm just saying, and it makes sense. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes, because mainstream media apparently had a problem with Chris Cuomo going on Tucker Carlson's show and having that discussion, which obviously that discussion is much longer than what you saw. If you want to watch it, feel free. But obviously, I'm not going to play that here because I think that discussion was over an hour long. But let's get into the Chris Cuomo video that, or segment that he had that I actually agree with. Check it out.
Boy, do they hate it when we talk to each other. Who? The establishment. Now, the easy criticism to handle is that I'm enabling the distribution of lies and bad ideas by having Tucker Carlson on. Here's the problem with that idea. Carlson has a bigger platform than anyone who is telling me to not have him on. Okay? That man and his crazy cackle is bigger than most major outlets.
Facts. Which is also the crazy thing, right? AOC getting excited. Ooh, deplatforming works. y'all remember AOC said that after Tucker Carlson got fired or laid off from Fox, right? Because there was also a story that came out that he wasn't actually fired. Like they didn't actually terminate his contract. And they were going to pay him still throughout the 2024 year, which was also kind of interesting. Oh, you're going to pay him throughout. You're going to keep him under contract until 2025? Is that a coincidence? I don't know. But, yeah, that... it was funny how that all played out because people celebrated on the left Tucker being fired, and now he's arguably the biggest and bigger than entire mainstream news networks by himself. I mean, you just look at some of the view numbers that this guy gets. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So Chris Cuomo is definitely right about that.
Crazy cackle is bigger than most major outlets. So the idea that you can censor your way into some kind of selection of arguments that you like or don't like is over. And simply demonizing what you disagree with is not making it better. It's only making it worse. For all of these rules about who can be on and who can't and how you fact check and how you don't and what the truth is and what it isn't, why is everything getting worse? I'll tell you why. Because Carlson is not unique, except maybe for that cuckoo cackle. But as for his ideas, he has an audience because millions feel the same way. This is the same mistake that many in the media made with Trump. And when I was talking to Trump early on, I was getting the same criticism. Why? Because many would rather silence what they don't agree with. And I think that drives the division. And they talk about building bridges, but they don't want to let it happen. Not here, not at News Nation. That's why I say let's get after it all the time. Not to have a catchphrase, but because we have to deal with one another. We got to confront our problems in life.
Facts.
We see what the alternative is getting us. And I
True.
know you get it. Thank God, because I didn't know how it was going to go. Many, many, many more of you said you want more conversation like that, not less. You gave me and Carlson some of our biggest audiences to date because you saw not a food fight, not me picking him up and throwing him around his own house, but because you saw what I hoped you would see, that while there is disagreement, deep disagreement, on who is to blame, what the solutions are, what really happened, who's right to do the job, for all that, there are common concerns. And that's all we need. That's all we need to get to a better place. And that's what we always had until like the last 10 years or so, because that's what the game has denied us as it has become more and more toxic. The uniting
Facts.
idea in this country has always been that what joins right and left, right and wrong, Republican and Democrat, is a set of common concerns that we all agree the establishment, the people in power, need to fix. The ugly truth is too many in the establishment prefer to keep us divided so they don't have to do what is hard, fix the problems.
And you know, that actually leads to another point, and I want to try to find this clip. I probably should get like an assistant here because, as y'all can see, I'm super unorganized with these videos. A lot of the times, they're just natural, off the hip, or shoot from the hip type of videos. Let me see if I could find this video that I came across today, actually. So it should be too hard to find, because what he just said there was really, really interesting. How the establishment wants to keep us separated. And here's the clip, actually. I'm happy I found it. Check it out.
1% of the population control the world. 4% of the population are their puppets. 90% of this population is a zombie, is a sleeping zombie. And 5% are trying to wake up the zombies. The 1% make sure that the 4% stop the 5% from waking up the 90%. This is not a war between two religions. This is not an ethnic war. This is not a racist war. It's none of these. This is the oldest trick in the book. Divide and conquer.
Bingo. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. Now, she said that really, really fast. I hate that it was that fast. So I want to go over that one more time.
1% of the population control the world.
Yep.
4% of the population are their puppets.
Yep. So the 1%, and then you have the 4%, right? Which the 4% are the Bidens and, these Bill Gates and those types of folks of the world.
90% of this population is a zombie, is a sleeping zombie. And 5% are trying to wake up the zombies. The 1% make sure that the 4% stop the 5% from waking up the 90%.
Yep. We're all fighting over that 90%. And there's 5% of us, which is us, that are trying to wake up the 90. But the 4% is stopping us, or at least trying to stop us from doing that. I think that is so well said. And I'm happy I came across that today, because that actually was perfect timing. Now, let me find, I got so many tabs open right now, it's ridiculous. But let me find, okay, here we go. Let's jump back into the Chris Cuomo clip. I just wanted to play that because what he said there was just like perfect for that clip.
Prefer to keep us divided so they don't have to do what is hard, fix the problems. You see, the silos, the tribes, the parties, the networks, they keep us apart. It has all enabled the divide and conquer mentality, subverting your interests for their own retention of power and share of audience. That's why they spend more time investigating each other than investigating solutions, to distract from your interests in favor of their own. But, if we get back to what people in the media hate, both sidesing, both sides, Cuomo, one of my buddies, former buddies at CNN, used to call me, and I'd be like, is that an insult? Yeah, because both sidesing means that you're giving false equivalency. You're putting these two things on the same level. No, you're not. No, you're not. What you're doing, on the contrary, is actually creating a competition of ideas. And no matter the split, by giving both sides, by having a conversation, at a minimum, you will get back to a set of common concerns, because we know what they are. We know what you talk about at home. Insurance rates, fentanyl, border security, college costs, alternatives to college like the trades, corporate control of our government, term limits, right? Who disagrees? So why isn't it happening? Because we're too busy blaming each other for the problems, as motivated by the establishment, because they like it that way. It's easier for them. The problems work better. Talking about each other has to be replaced by conversations with both sides, talking to each other. It will reveal our common concerns. I know it. You saw it. You want it. So let's get after it.
Well, I also think part of the problem is they don't want us having many conversations with each other, because common sense will prevail. And Republicans are the party of common sense. It's not common sense to leave your border wide open. You don't do that with your home. You don't do that with your car. I mean, maybe if you live in an extremely nice area, but if you drive anywhere, you're not leaving your door wide open, are you? Never seen that one before. Just somebody that drives everywhere and leaves the door wide open. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. That car ain't gonna be there for long. So, like, I think the problem is when we do have those kinds of conversations. Eventually, there's a shift that begins to happen, and that shift typically isn't a shift to the left. That is a shift that typically happens to the right, and they know that. So they don't want us conversating. They don't want us having calm, collected, peaceful discussions. They want it to turn into, this yelling and screaming and shouting match. Because then it ends. Then it stops. And the aggression, the back and forth there stays. The clash stays. The guard doesn't get let down. Right? They don't want that guard to be let down with us. And yeah, I agree with Chris Cuomo. I wish we could have more open and honest discussions between the right and the left. I wish we could. Where there wasn't like this game being played or this, I honestly think we should have national debates. Debates on national television. I think that would be amazing to see. But of course, as I've learned, that will probably never happen because they know that they would get exposed. They know full well that they would get exposed and this country would have a major shift to the right. Major shift to the right. Because once again, common sense prevails. Common sense prevails. And I mean, there's many instances of, hey, if a Republican mentioned this, I mean, this is common sense. And, people just gonna be like, hey, well, the guy is right. Oh, well, he is right about that one. Oh, yeah. He is right about that. I gotta admit it. That's just common sense right there. And they know that. I mean, like I said before, the people that I believe that are truly pulling the strings, they are some very, very intelligent individuals. They're playing a game of chess, not checkers. They think many moves ahead. Just when you think that you got them cornered, just when you think that you have them figured out, they already had 2 more extra moves. They had another move and a counter to that. Even if you were expecting that move, they had a counter for it. oh, you knew I was going to do that next. Well, how about this? Oh, well, I didn't see that one coming. Okay. What do we do? And that's one of the things that I was mentioning when I would say we have to keep in mind that Trump has to play chess, not checkers out here. Trump has to play chess, not checkers. There's going to be some things he's going to say and he's going to do that you're going to probably scratch your head at. I feel like that's common sense, right? Because he's going to have to play chess. He has to. There's no other way that this can go the way that we would like it to go without him playing chess. Okay? Like the whole abortion situation that, some, folks on the right lost their minds over. Oh my goodness, Trump didn't take a hard stance on abortion. Yeah, because you can't. You can't. We've already seen it. That's a losing battle right now. That's a losing battle. We can all say that we disagree all day long, but that does not matter if we aren't in a position to do anything about it. It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So I think Trump took the common sense approach and said, hey, I'll go with whatever the American people agree with. I think that's the smart move for now. That is the smart move. I may not 100% like it, but what's the alternative? Him saying, no, I'm going to ban abortion and then him losing the next election? And Democrats just having unfettered abortion? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. So you go with the common sense approach. I'll go with whatever the American people agree with. And then he does that. He goes with whatever the American people agree with. And then over his 4 years, we re-educate everyone on what abortion actually is. And then you reintroduce the question back in 2028, again in 2028, and see where America is then. That's the way it's done. That's the way you save lives, in my humble opinion. But hey, I don't have to tell you. The proof is in the pudding, right? Proof is in the pudding. We had a landslide. A perfect landslide. It was a red wave. You guys remember I was reporting on it. It turned into mist. And what was the one issue that Democrats were winning on? It was only one. Abortion. Doesn't take a math whiz to figure that one out. I'm just saying. It's got to be chess, not checkers. Anyway, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.